Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the Everything Paranormal Show. I'm your host, Josh Morris. Thank you for joining me tonight. Or if you're not joining me tonight, hopefully you're watching the replay. All right, guys. So welcome to the show. This is a live show, so anything goes tonight. But tonight we're talking about a very sensitive to some people, but this is a big topic that my wife and I have been talking about. I brought this up last week when we had special guest Paranormal Help on. And so some of you may be looking at the title saying likes and subs are taking us to hell. Subs are taking us to hell. You know, you're seeing this. So what exactly does that mean? Well, first of all, what we're going to talk about tonight is the quest for likes and subs and social media, YouTube, those type of things, the videos that are out there, the countless amounts of rituals that are taking place, not just in America, but even all over the world. So are all of these on a big scale just thinning the veil? Is this bringing hell on earth? Are we opening so many portals and bringing so many demons into this realm, into this world? So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I've also got some other announcements, so you're definitely going to want to stick around for the end of the show, because we got some more things we're going to talk about with some updates on the show for April and going forward. Also, some additional information on appearances. So stick around, guys. I'm glad to. Hopefully, you guys will participate tonight in chat. Again, this can be a very interactive discussion if you guys want to join in. So let's get started, guys. Let's start diving in to the big picture of, are we conjuring our own hell on earth? You know, really, is our quest for subs and likes, is it driving us to keep calling upon this evil? Now, we're going to split some hairs tonight. This is what makes it a little bit controversial. We're going to split some hairs because some people could say, well, Josh, aren't you communicating with spirits by doing EVP sessions? Aren't you doing certain things? And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. There is some things I am doing, and we're going to talk about some of those things as we go through the show. So one of the things that we're going to dive into, of course, is like the quest for subs. You know, so many people nowadays are trying to be monetized on YouTube. They're trying to have Patreons, merchandise. I mean, how many times do you hear the everybody on their YouTube say, click on the merch link below, go check out our merch and merch this, merch that. And of course, just a little chart right there is just showing some of the different, it's just showing Spotify and YouTube and how they pay out and all that good stuff. So hey, it's good to see Tales from the Grotto on here. It's good to see Bob Fountain, by the way. I wanted to take a quick bit of a moment to shout out to those. Let's see. I, for one, like to sit beside a circle of candles, sacrifice a stuffed animal. Right, Jeffrey Toys R Us. Oh. All right. Yes. So conjuring this, again, this is, yes, we're going to joke around a little bit, but there's going to be a little bit of sense of humor. So, all right, guys, so opening portals to hell, right? I mean, opening portals to hell. Oops. Sorry. Opening portals to hell, right? So this, again, when we talk about portals to hell, or just even, again, we don't always know what we're doing, right? You may think you're trying to open even a portal to, even people try to open portals to heaven, right? They do. People try to open a lot of different portals. But, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what door you're going to open up, and you don't know what's going to come through it. So, but we're talking about the big collective effort, right? So where I mean, I guess, really spiritualism started way back, even just, again, conjuring, all those things. You can go thousands and thousands of years back, all the way back to even the fallen angels teaching mankind spells and enchantments and things like that, rituals. But let's look at even some things just going back to the Ouija board times, because one of the things is the Ouija board or Ouija board. I say Ouija. A lot of people say Ouija. My wife and I always joke about it. She's always like, it's Ouija. So yes, the Ouija board. And some people, this is, again, going to be very controversial. Some people will say, oh, that's just an evil device from Satan. Some people will say it's just a communication tool. Some people is going to sort of be in the middle on it. And again, I think a lot of things can be used as a tool. Again, when we just do EVP sessions, right, we typically will be communicating to spirits. I almost lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, guys. But typically, like I said, with EVPs, we are communicating with spirits and things like that. We can kind of split hairs and whatnot. Again, I'm not saying I don't want to go on record and say that the Ouija board is bad. I do believe that there's people that can use it as a communication tool. So let's just look at really quick. Basically, Ouija came out in 1891, February of 1891. And when it came out, of course, it was Ouija, the wonderful talking board. It was really when America had really been in its prime spiritualism movement. It really hit hard at the time because it was over in Europe, but then it just hit hard right around that 1848, and then it even peaked all the way to the second half of the 19th century. So that's what I'm saying. It really, that old, and again, everything back then was amazing, or was communication. But we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. So just if you guys really want to know, the Ouija board, if you search it on Google, there's literally 8.5 million results for Ouija board when you Google it. All right. So that should tell you, yes, there's a lot going on out there with the Ouija board. Now, something that may surprise you and really surprise me is if you actually look up how to open a portal to hell, okay? Believe it or not, 34.2 million Google hits on opening a portal to hell. And of course, you can even see right there on the chart, you can see right there that there's already there's a website right there telling you how to perform the ritual. Okay? That's scary, folks. That's scary. So I want you to think about that. There is 34 million Google results on opening a portal to hell. 8.5 million on Ouija board, and God knows what other Google hits for other bad things and other rituals, right? My point is, we're talking about the greater dark magic picture, right? When you start getting all of these people that are performing these rituals or using the Ouija board in bad ways, because again, the Ouija board is just a board and planchette, but it's how you use it. And of course, you are allowing spirits to use you sort of to communicate. So that's another dangerous aspect of it. But ultimately, it's a communication tool. It's been around. It was huge back in the day. Okay? Back in the day, Ouija board, in the spiritualistic in the 1800s, the late 1800s, was amazingly common. And everybody was communicating all the time. but there was rules. People respected those rules. So that's another thing that I think we have such a huge difference. Again, because back then, it was all about communicating to the spirits. Seances were crazy all the time. Tables were levitating. There's classic images like this one here with the table levitating during a seance. But seances were all the rage. The Ouija boards, again, any type of communication to the spirits, and especially because the telegraph was very popular back then, you could start telegraphing things. So the Ouija board made sense. That's why there's an alphabet on there, and it has that pacing of like a telegraph. That's why some people think it's a little slow sometimes. That's why people also like a lot of the spirit box sessions, things like that now, because they get instant gratification. We're more of an instant world nowadays, right? We don't necessarily just like to sit there and with a Ouija board all the time and wait for that. How many times have you guys even seen some of these people trying to use it, and it's like they get bored with it very quickly. But the point is the collective effort, right? The collective effort. So one of the things that I've noticed is when you go to YouTube, and anybody can do this, just type in Ouija board. Type in Ouija board, you will see tons and tons and tons, thousands of video results of people messing with Ouija boards. Again, communicating possibly. And here's the thing, how many of those people are following rules? How many people are closing sessions? How many of those people are doing it correctly? Well, one of the theories that we talked about with the presence of evil, and of course, Mike from Paranormal Help last week brought up a point that we're getting maybe toward the end of days or later times, so of course we're seeing more and more evil out there. But if you really think about what else is contributing to that, think about all of these seances and these rituals that are going on that people are performing. And here's a twist. In the spiritualism movement in the 1800s, right? And even in the early 1900s, right? People had a lot more respect for the spirits. There was a lot more respect. There was, and they when they communicated, they went to these seances, which was led by usually like a medium or psychic, right? So they were sort of at the mercy of a leader, but it was sort of an experienced leader. Nowadays, if you think about it, we've got YouTube kids, adults running around and just, doing all kinds of crazy things. And the cool thing is breaking the rules, right? They're purposely disrespecting like Ouija boards. They're trying. Right here, I just popped this up for you. I just pulled up just a quick little thing to see, and there was just tons and tons of videos. Now, I didn't show the actual thumbnails, or I did remove the names, so nobody gets all butthurt. But you can pretty much see the titles of the videos. They're breaking the rules. They love breaking the rules just to see what happens. Now, some of them, they regretted it, whatever, but it's clickbait for them. So, of course, they're going to say, hey, I disrespected this, and, oh, I regret it, or whatever. It's all clickbait for them. Here's another top 4, or another 4 results that I wanted to show. These videos, these kids love to break the rules. It's a thing out there. So, again, when you look back, before, people really respected the spirits, and I think that the communication was okay. I think it was better with people communicating with spirits. Again, I'm not saying it was a perfect world. I'm saying at least at the time, a majority of people were respecting the spirits. Nowadays, again, there's a lot of these YouTubers They're getting clickbait. They're making tons of money. I mean, look at some of these views, right? Look at some of those views on there. Hundreds of thousands, some million views, you know. They love to break the rules. Because again, I mean, again, why not? Why not break the rules? Get clickbait. You know, people are again, they're what? You broke the rules on that Ouija board? On the Ouija board? What? Oh my God, say it isn't so. Let me watch this video and see what happens. Oh my God, is there going to be a rift to hell that's created? Well, something that my wife and I were talking about is, you know, we watch some of these videos because, again, we try to keep an eye on these things. So, yes, we are guilty of giving them some views sometimes, but we do click dislike. We're the ones that are clicking dislike on some of these. So, one of the things that we talked about was that these kids push. I say kids, I'm sorry, but these people, these YouTubers that are purposely breaking the rules, they're purposely mocking the spirits. You know, a lot of times they do it and they get away with it. They think they get away with it. I don't think they realize that this eventually will catch up to them. You know, a lot of times it doesn't work the way they think. Just because they're breaking these rules or doing these things and nothing tragically happens to them, or at least nothing real. I mean, they might fake some tragedy or something just to be like, oh yeah, you know, I got into an accident a week after I messed with the Ouija board, so oh my God, you know, and they're just drawing people in for that clickbait. And who knows, the accident could be part of that karma, right? But the point is, a lot of that karma, a lot of that negativity that they're doing, is going to fall on their family or friends or other people around them. That's what they probably don't fully realize, and it may not be something that's going to happen right now. You know, some of these evil spirits have been around thousands of years. You know, they're patient. Okay, they're patient. So, again, they're tempting fate. And I think, again, that's what draws people into watching the videos. Like, oh my God, they're tempting fate. They're crazy for doing this. Oh my God. So, you know, again, this is some of the things that we talked about. Now, again, I don't want to put any particular channels on blast, Sam and Colby, but there is some people out there, some channels that are very diehard, you know, break the rules, things like that. But I just think ultimately we are pushing ourselves to a more evil, you know, environment by doing this. Now, I'm not trying to blame the world's problems on Ouija boards. Again, don't get me wrong. And also, let me clarify. This is not just Ouija boards. I mean, I'm only using this as an example. As you've seen, there's 4 times more Google hits for opening a portal to hell than Ouija boards. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, let me go to the comments here, or let me look at the chat. Sorry, guys, I've been covering all my plot points for you guys. So yeah, I mean, Bob talks about he's got an upcoming case involving Ouija board and black magic, practicing without parents' knowledge. Okay, again, another common thing. Now, all kinds of bad things are happening in their house. Terry Lynn, of course, my wife, she's like, oh my God, I see you see me. Hey, I didn't see you sneak in there. How you doing? Terry Lynn, you know, it's trending on YouTube. Tales from the Grotto. Robert in Washington by chance. Terry Lynn and Tales from the Grotto sounds similar case to me. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Again, some of these kids, I mean, let's face it. What was it? What's the joke? You know, 21 to drink, but 6 and up to summon demons. You know, so yeah. I mean, some of these kids, they may be doing these things in a house. Parents don't know about it, And where do you think these kids are seeing a lot of this? You know, it's very common. One of the most common things I see when I go to households, because in my full-time job, I go to houses all the time. I fix their internet. You know, I fix their cable and fix their stuff. And all the time they're telling me, and all the time I'm seeing kids, the biggest thing with a lot of these younger kids, they love playing like Fortnite, Call of Duty, you know, all that stuff, and watch videos. Now, usually it's also videos of people playing the same game they're playing, but sometimes they're watching other things. But there is some very younger, influential paranormal channels out there that are just blatantly violating the Ouija board rules, or just disrespecting ghosts, sort of mocking things at times, really poking fun at it. And so, in fact, one of these young channels had even made their own spirit board and are selling it to these kids out there. So, of course, you're going to get these kids, these young kids, and again, they're going to get influenced, and they're going to think, "Oh man, this is a way to make money is to go out," and they see all these views and the clickbait, like the shock value of breaking the rules on a Ouija board and things like that. And again, bad things happen. So again, but I'm, like I was saying, I'm not trying to just blame everything on the Ouija board. Like I said, there is many rituals out there for opening the portals of hell. I'm not going to get into those because, again, I don't want to give people ideas. You know, I'm not trying to be one of the ones to help cause. I think so. What is the solution here? What honestly is the solution? Honestly, I think there's probably not a major solution. You know, certainly we're always going to have those shock videos out there on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. And paranormal right now, it seems as if that is a major part of the paranormal community right now. Is not so much the TV shows. The TV shows are okay; they're always there. But it really seems like a lot of people are tuning in to these style of YouTube videos now. These abandoned locations, right? Where again, sometimes, you know, satanic rituals were performed at, but even if they weren't, that style of that paranormal reality, where they're going into these abandoned places, provoking things like that, and a lot of these guys, they're not closing anything out. They're a lot of times tuck tail and running, and they're like, "I'm done, I'm out of here," because they found it's more dramatic, and they get more views. They get more views, more likes. And again, they just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. You know, and as they keep pushing it, again, what are they doing in the big picture of the spirit world? Or how much more are they inviting into this? How many portals of hell, or how many portals are they really opening up? How many demons are they really summoning? Things like that. So these are the questions. This is why I wanted to talk about it tonight and get you guys thinking about these things. So back to what we're talking about, the solution. What is the solution? Well, the solution for me is respect. You know, the biggest thing is this is where the hypocrisy, where I try to draw the line. Okay? Because again, I'm involved in paranormal. So again, people are going to say, "Hey, don't be a hypocrite." Well, I'm not. But I'm also going to be respectful to ghosts. Again, I'm not crucifying these people, but it makes me mad that when they disrespect the industry, when they disrespect ghosts, when they disrespect spirits and things like that. Sure, maybe there's the evil spirits out there, maybe they deserve it. But you don't go toe-to-toe with them. There's no reason for you to sit there and try to go toe-to-toe with a spirit. You know, but it's like they just keep pushing it and pushing it until something happens, till that climax happens on their video, and then they're like, oh, I'm out of there. But again, they didn't close anything down. They didn't fix anything. They didn't help anything. And now you've got a place that, again, the activity's stirred up. It's maybe even worse. Maybe they even opened a portal there. Who knows? But they're making things worse. And then sometimes, yes, teams have to go in behind them and they have to clean that up. But a lot of times, other victims have already suffered before that even happens, because they've come in, bought this house or demolished this house, walked through this land. Now maybe it's a vacant lot. Maybe they rebuild on top of it. Who knows? But that portal, that rift, that negative energy will stay there for years and years. And someday, maybe 50 years or 100 years in the future, some house may be there, and all of a sudden things are happening, and they're like, what's going on? Nobody's ever died in this house. Again, previous history, the land. We're going to get to that point too now for the future. Just like we're at that point where we have historical things that's happened on this land, and now we're seeing ghosts from before our house was built or before our business was erected. So that's some of the things I wanted to talk about with that, and we'll go back to that. So I think right now I'm going to depart from that, and we'll get into some announcements here, because again, as we started talking about, just to kind of recap, we're talking about subs, portals to hell. Portals to hell. That's a portal to hell. I've seen that. I've experienced that. That's Taco Bell. That's Taco Bell right there. That, by the way, that's a lava tube. But I mean, look how creepy and eerie that is. I mean, seriously. That's a natural occurrence. But man, that looks scary. That looks freaky. I think in the big picture, there's actually a scientist like standing up on top of the lava flow up there. But man, that is amazingly eerie. Okay, and if I really came across something like that, I would think that I was about to enter hell. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through some of my slides here again. Like I said, the seances and stuff. It was very popular back then. That was like the thing to do. It was, and the seances, spiritualism. The reason why it also took off so well is because it lent itself to Christianity. It blended very well, actually. Believe it or not, many people were fine with doing a seance Saturday night and then going to church the next day. Bob said, I make one disparaging statement about the well at Bobby Mackey's and never antagonized the supposed demon, but still ended up in the hospital and almost died. Yeah, and, again, we're dealing with evil forces out there. So these kids are out there antagonizing, purposely trying to do. But the thing I would say, even to Bob or anybody, is that a lot of times it's the believers that take the brunt of it, because the spirits know we believe. We're on that sort of same wavelength, literally like that same energy wavelength. So we are more vulnerable to their attacks. It's the non-believers that get away with it. They're the non-believers that are going around, and tempting fate and provoking demons and everything else. Again, not on the same wavelength. They've got a different, sort of blockade, unfortunately. But it's the believers. We're the ones that take that hit. So when we make these off comments, we do get hit. We do get sucker punched, because we do believe in it, and we unfortunately are able to feed it, and it's able to, reach us on that same energy level, unfortunately. So it kind of goes both ways. Once you start to believe, then you sort of open yourself up a little bit, which is why you need to learn how to protect yourself. So let's see, where were we at? So yeah, I mean, again, a lot of disrespect out there. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about and announce was kind of moving away from that subject. If you guys have some more comments or questions, go ahead and start getting them in the chat as far as tonight's subject about the overall picture of people making more evil out there with all the portals and stuff. But I wanted to take a moment to talk about SRS Paranormal. They recently was in Paranormal Underground magazine. They were on the cover. So if you're not subscribed to that magazine, you definitely need to go check it out. I've got a subscription to it. It's again, if you're in paranormal, it's awesome. I'm not going to spend too much more time on that, but my friends, SRS Paranormal, are on there. As some of you may recognize a couple of them in there, Matt Sorge and Rhonda Caudell. Both of them were on my show, and of course, you guys remember I was guest investigator, my wife and I, with SRS Paranormal at Tipton Haynes. We have that video; you can check it out. And also, I went to the Nickerson Sneed Haunted Mansion, which was an attraction, but it really is haunted. And we did some fun location shoots there. So these guys, which are local to me, they're in the area. They invited me to their big Paracon. These guys have worked really, really hard. I think they've been working on this for I would have to say a year, maybe more. Behind the scenes, like they couldn't really talk about it to anybody. And, Matt's like, "Hey, don't tell anybody." Which now we can, of course. But but they've been working so hard because they've been trying to bring a big paranormal convention sort of to this area. So they were able to get Asheville, North Carolina, which isn't too far. It's like an hour and a half drive from here. So that's awesome. That's nothing. But they got Hexpo is the name of it, Hexpo the Gathering. So if you guys have not got tickets for it, or if you plan, if you can make it to Asheville, August 14th and 15th, coming up this 2020, you guys need to go get your tickets. Go to the website, Hexpo the Gathering. There you can find all the guests, I believe, like Chip Coffey, the Wraith Chasers. There's a bunch of people on there. And you might recognize another guy that's going to be there. Me. That's right, folks. I'm going to be at the gathering as well. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be doing interviews, selling my book, doing some book signings. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I'll see some of you guys there that may watch this. That'd be nice to see you. Hopefully you can come up and say, "Hey, dude, I see your show and I'm out here at Hexpo and want to buy your book. Can you autograph it for me right here," or whatever. Or just come say hi. You don't even have to buy my book. I don't care. Just come say hi. All right? If you watch the show, come see us at Hexpo. It's going to be huge. Like I said, it's actually what used to be called the AT&T Cellular Center. I think it's called something else now. Forgive me. The name is eluding me. But it's in a big spot. It's going to be a big convention, guys. It's not just like some with a couple booths. I mean, this is going to be the real deal. So lots of people. I would suspect probably it's going to be one of those 10, 20,000 show up events. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? I'm being optimistic for us, for Hexpo. So I just wanted to really share that news with you guys. That again, I'm going to be at Hexpo. Another big announcement, which I don't have a picture for, so I'm just going to leave Hexpo up. It's like I'm beside myself. Amazing, I look so much fatter in real life. Oh, that's because I am. It's because I gained weight. But guess what? I am working out. I am actually working out. Guys, beginning of the week, started P90X. Yes, old school P90X. I know it's been a long time, and there's a lot of workouts. But P90X, it's my go-to. It's like putting in an old familiar thing. You put it in the DVD player, and you hit play. You hear the music. You hear Tony Horton's voice, and it just brings me back. And it was one of the most successful programs that I lost the most weight on back in the day. And I lost well over 40 pounds. And I was really, really proud of doing P90X. So I broke it out and started working out again. And so I'm starting to control my portions, work out. Hopefully I can lose some weight so I can look a little better for you guys when I do these appearances. Won't look so much like a fat slob. All right, so but April, I believe my my hours at my work is changing, coming up pretty much at the end of the month. I'm going to be switching some schedules of my hours a little bit. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm actually going to be moving the show to probably 9 or 9:30, depending on if I get some different feedback from you guys. But I am looking at doing the show maybe at an earlier slot so I don't have to keep you guys up so late. Maybe we can get some more people to watch. Maybe some of your friends are like, it's just too late for me to watch on a Thursday night. It's 11:30, you know. Well, hey, you know, I talked to my wife, and it was her idea. She's like, hey, if your hours are going to move, you need to move the show up. You know, you'll probably get some more people. I said, all right. So even though we've been just saying 11:30 every Thursday, we may bump it up to 9 o'clock or 9:30 if we hear anything different from you guys. But, you know, that's going to be – so look out for that. So for those of you that like Tales from the Grotto, I See You See Me, Bob, you guys have been very regular. My wife, of course, you're here. But for those of you, again, make sure keep an eye out for that in the next few weeks coming up. That I'm gonna start doing that a little earlier for you guys. So I think that's it on the announcements part of things. I can't think of anything else. I didn't write anything else, but I'm trying to think if there was anything else. But yeah, I mean, I just felt like tonight was a good night to talk about, because my wife and I have really just been talking about that a lot lately, just because we've been seeing so many videos of just people, just, I guess, not just Ouija boards, but just outright sort of stirring up the paranormal activity, really getting things rallied up, you know, a lot of attacks kind of back and forth, and then just sort of bailing, you know, in the end. In the end, they just leave it. Sometimes they even admit, they're just like, yeah, we're out of here. They're going to have to get somebody professional. It's like, why are you there? You know? But we just started talking about, and this has really been a major subject of my wife's lately, but is she just was bringing up, she's like, my God, Josh, look how many videos are out there. So think about the havoc that they're wreaking with leaving these portals or doorways or just spirits out there open, you know, and the vast scale. So when I started preparing for this show and doing a little bit of research, you know, just to kind of see what all was out there, it did blow my mind a little bit. Like, I kind of figured I'd get, you know, a few million hits on Google for Ouija board. I didn't really think it'd be like maybe 8 million or 8.5 million. But when I typed in how to open a portal to hell and hit, it's in my history now, but you know what I mean. But when I hit that, it was like 34.2 million hits on Google on how to do that. And to me, that really blew my mind. That it was 4 times more Google results for opening a portal to hell than Ouija board stuff. So that was an eye-opener for me. I think that was the big shocker of even this video for me, was learning something on that vast of a scale. Now, when I did just type in how to open a portal, there was like 3.7 billion hits on just how to open a portal. But now portal could be like a ship portal. There's many different things, and of course, maybe portals to heaven. There's good, bad, all those type of things. So, and it could be like space portals, things like that. So 3.7 billion hits on just how to open a portal. But when I got more specific, I'm like, well, because I was going to kind of go with that. But I was like, portal can really be used many, many ways, right? So that's when I went a little more specific and was like, how to open a portal to hell. And I mean, I didn't say that when I typed it, like, to hell when I typed it. But when I typed it, it was like, man, 34.2 million. You can try it for yourself if you really want it in your history. So God knows what my computer is going to think about me, right? Because we all know all these algorithms, all these memories, all this stuff now. I'm going to get advertisements now for Satan stuff or something. Who knows? I don't know. Sorry, honey, but yeah, I mean, so if you just really think about that, guys, that'll blow your mind that there's that many people out there that are dabbling with these type of rituals. It's scary, guys. It really is scary, and that's why when we talk about spiritual warfare, there's more than just that demon versus us. I mean, we're talking about the evil that's going on in the world in battling these things, and even ignorance, right? Because I look at this also as ignorance. Some of these kids, I say kids, some of these dumbasses, I mean YouTubers that are out there doing this, breaking these rules, things like that. I don't think that they're necessarily evil, but because of their ignorance and their quest for likes and subs and money and things like that, that they're creating this byproduct, and we're the ones that have to battle it. We're the ones that have to battle that. So there's different battles. There's the battle for ignorance. There's the battle for, again, literally against demons, against the things that they're creating. There's a lot of battles out there. So it is a spiritual warfare in more ways than just one. So, guys, pick a side. But if you're going to pick the good side, don't be ignorant and do the things that's going to make things easier for the bad guys. All right? So be on the good side. Fight those things. So let's go back to chat for a second here. Let me bring the mic with me. Because I got to lean in so I can read all this. All right, so let's go back to, let's see, Bob saying, for me, a workout is trying to get my socks on. Bob, look, you're talking to a fat dude. All right. So first of all, fat guys, anybody that's fat out there, putting on shoes, socks, putting on your belt, okay, anything like that is, you run out of breath. All right. It's a workout. Taking a shower is a workout. You almost need a shower after taking a shower because it's a workout. Trying to, you got to do yoga poses, trying to scrub yourself. All right. So trust me, I know what you're talking about. So yeah, that'll help us elderly people. He said it's also important to tell clients the possible reactions they may experience when we attempt to remove an entity that does not want to leave. They are so desperate for something, and my wife said they are so desperate for something, anything to happen, daring the spirits. It's the taboo to them, the darkness that draws them in. And you're right. And my wife, Bob, you guys bring up good points. But like, even as to talk more on what my wife is saying as well, is that, yeah, they're so desperate for that clickbait. They just keep pushing the limits. And even like she said, the darkness is drawing them in. That they don't realize, they think that during these spirits they're going to get attacked or this and that. Again, they don't always realize that there's other tactics and these spirits are drawing them in. Okay? There was, and some of you may know who I'm talking about. There's one guy in particular, dude, this guy was so wrapped up in this investigation from all these they kept seeing all these shadow figures, right? And just not a good feeling. There was potential multiple deaths at this location, at this farm. But this guy got so drawn in that not only did he reacted just horribly when his friend got hurt, but also he ended up buying the farm. You know, that's how much the spirits drew him in. You know, and it wasn't one of those like, hey, let me buy a museum of dark antiquities like Zach did, you know, for a thing. This was like, it drew him into, it compelled him to buy this farm. So again, I don't want to name the guy, but there's the whole series about it, really. But you know, again, watching things like that, that's when we realize, that's when my wife and I was just realizing how many people are creating so much more negativity for clickbait, right? So again, that quest for subs, that quest for likes, it's creating a lot of things. I think that I'm gonna try to look at the other side for a second, because I am on a camera. I've got a mic. I've got a show. I've got a YouTube channel. So I get it. I get the clickbait stuff. You know, I'm kind of guilty. I try to have clickbait type titles, or at least titles that will draw people in. I try to. Not always good at it. But like, I get it. But at the same time, with the world of paranormal, you have to have some more respect at times. I've seen some good channels of people that go in. I've enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed seeing the investigation. I've enjoyed, I want to say there's a group, and since we're talking positive, I want to say like the Haunted Side. I want to say that paranormal channel. So far, I haven't watched all their videos, but I've watched a few of their investigations, and for the most part, their reactions aren't over the top. I mean, they're, you know, human reactions. Sometimes they get excited, and you know, but they're not over the top. They seem to have a good amount of equipment versus, you know, and they do try to debunk things when they happen. But all in all, I think, you know, something like that where it draws you in, I think that's a good thing, right? I think that's a good type of paranormal channel, because it is exciting to watch those cases and watch them do those things. Because I remember doing those things as well, and being, you know, going to investigations. But I think they have a good mixture. Like I said, when you get some of these other channels that are just more of the negative, breaking the rules and shock value, that's when we're having a problem with things. My wife said things bad happened. It was the guy that was injured. It was his friend that actually got burned by touch from a spirit. Huge hamper. Yeah, like when his friend got injured, it was a burn. Like, he's just like, oh my God, I'm burning, you know, and he had like a genuine reaction on camera. And when he finally got his shirt up, you could just see this perfect handprint just burned on his body, and it was, you know, probably one of the most perfect handprints I've seen on somebody, like a burn, when you see like burns on somebody, and it seemed pretty genuine. You know, again, I can never 100% say for sure, but my wife and I both kind of say, like, you know, his reaction plus with the injury, you know, it did seem pretty legit. But again, the guy that reacted to it, the guy that bought the farm, the guy main channel, again, it was the way he reacted. He really seemed as if the spirits, like he was trying to keep his friend in that area. You know, it's almost like the dark shadows were guiding him. And I'm not saying full possession, but I'm just saying, again, influence, right? You don't have to necessarily be fully possessed by a demon in the way that people think. Like, you know, it's not necessarily like Linda Blair. There's a lot of these demons that can influence people in their actions, and they don't always realize it. You know, it's hard to explain, but ultimately, again, you don't have to necessarily be like that Linda Blair exorcist thing and, you know, be levitating. And, you know, a lot of times people think when you're possessed, it's that. But again, you can be guided by negative spirits and things like that when you start getting around and you get lured into their traps and they start getting you thinking a certain way. That's how this guy bought this farm. That's how this guy was, you know, making some of the decisions he was making in these videos. But again, negativity. This was that karma. You know, you keep dabbling in that. You keep dabbling in that negativity and pushing the envelope. It's going to start hurting you or affecting your friends and things like that. But yeah, Bob said always wear protection during an investigation. You know, well, Bob, I don't know. I haven't worn protection in. Wait. Oh yeah, during an investigation. Okay, I thought you were talking about something else, Bob. All right, so, but yeah, protection. Again, for me, I have the power of Christ when I do investigations, and I also have my crystal. You know, people say, "Isn't crystal and isn't Jesus and stuff?" Look, folks, you can believe in Jesus, you can believe in God, and you can still believe in crystals, the power of crystals. So that's how I feel. So I have both, but I have the power of Jesus, which is the ultimate protection in God, right? The armor of God, and I have my crystal. Okay, so Sean Carter, hey Sean, how's it going? Sean is an awesome guy. Also, he said, when you know how to cast out those such things, don't happen as much. It's when you try to use pagan ways that stuff happens, and you lose control. And so, and you know, Sean brings up a good point. You know, and what I like about Sean, for those of you that may not know him in the chat, he's a pastor I've had on here. Again, real good guy. He helps people with spiritual warfare. We did an episode on spiritual warfare, religion and paranormal. The guy's a fountain of knowledge for things. He definitely has his religious approach on things, and he does well for helping people, you know, to take care of things. And I think what ultimately Sean may be even getting at is belief as well. And even Mike and Leah talked about it with Paranormal Help last week. It also is that you can sit there and go in and you can do all you want. You can bless and do all these different things all you want. But if the client, if the victim, if they don't have that belief structure, if they don't have that conviction, then it's not going to it's not going to work. It's not going to chase the spirits away, so to speak, or help. So there's lots to be said. Many different approaches, and you know, again, it's a very big warfare out there. Again, it's not just a ghost or an evil spirit versus like a preacher versus a person. A lot of times people will think about that some kind of spiritual warfare. They'll picture a demon. They'll picture like Archangel Michael with a sword or something. Or it's not necessarily just that. You know, spiritual warfare is good versus evil on many layers. Whether it's ignorance of these YouTubers and people doing these rituals and creating this huge evilness, you know, throughout. Then there's people like us that have to combat it. We have to try to go in and close things down or close things up. And if I can't do something like that, there's people like Sean or, you know, other people out there that can help shut things down sometimes. Again, that's part of that big overall picture, good versus evils. So I think if there's anything, if you've listened to this whole video, that in the end, I hope that if there's some people watching this, that one thing that they really gather from this is, you know, be on the side of good, first of all. Okay, be on the side of good, and don't go out and do things out of ignorance and create worse things. All right, again, my focus has always been more to research versus trying to call upon spirits for favors or for all kinds of craziness. You know, you can split hairs all you want, but ultimately, don't do the bad things. Don't do it out of ignorance, clickbait, and all those things. But it's happening. It's going to continue happening, folks. So hopefully we just made some awareness tonight. At least now my video's out there for a little more awareness out there, right, guys? So for those of you watching, and you watch those videos, again, you know, pray for those people, you know, and try to pass on respect. You know, don't give these guys, if you give them views, click dislike. If they're disrespectful to the spirits, if they're doing these things, click dislike. Leave a comment. You know, you don't have to be rude, but just leave a comment saying, hey, you know, be more respectful. You know, we just need to keep fighting that fight and just keep trying to help good prevail over these moments. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed the show tonight. I truly did. I hope you learned something. I felt like I learned something. Sean says good show. My wife's laughing about things. Bob's making his comments like usual. Guys, you guys have been a great chat audience tonight. I look forward to next week seeing you guys. Again, don't forget, we got the time changes are really coming up next thing before you know it. So don't forget, we're going to be changing to an earlier time soon. So keep an eye out. But next week should probably still be 11:30. So just remember, it's not going to be until we get to April. Okay? So other than that, guys, remember, keep it up. Keep fighting the good fight. Seek the truth. We'll see you in the next video.